call this meeting to order, please. Stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Apple?
Here.
Mr. Bryland?
Here.
Mrs. Mooney?
Here.
Mr. Platzer?
Here. Moving on, the consent agenda. Anybody like to make a motion that we accept the consent agenda for $50,764.40?
Will you repeat it again?
Pardon me?
Will you repeat it again?
$50,764.40.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions? Hearing none, I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Bryland?
Yes.
Mrs. Mooney?
Yes.
Mr. Platzer?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes. Citizens wishing to address the Board of Trustees. Mr. Robert Abernathy.
8235 State Road, Burtchville. And I've asked again about the, new ordinances, especially the one on the cemetery. I've got a chance to talk to the attorney about the paragraph that's in there.
You're talking about the...
The graves, yeah, the headstones.
I have not had a chance to
Okay,
talk.
all right. Yeah, the paragraphs just reads incorrectly. It wasn't the fact that the headstones were being turned around or anything, or which way they were facing. It's the fact that there are about 50 graves out there that have headstones at their feet. And then the, the order form that's filled out to put a headstone out there says that all headstones that are at the feet have to be flat. Obviously, I understand the fact of trying to keep the cemetery even in that one portion, but the last few burials out there have been in that portion, and it's not even marked anywhere in the records that those headstones are actually at somebody's feet. So when generations in the future come in and they look at the paperwork that's in here, it doesn't even make that notation. So it's very confusing.
Well, what's your objection?
The headstone actually belongs at the head of a grave, not at the feet.
Well, they weren't done that way originally,
Right, but there's a big section out there that was done that way, and it's continuing. So,
I just want to address that.
When I was in there in the spring, actually, in the whole Lakeport Cemetery, the old part, there's a whole lot of them that are that way. The whole cemetery, that whole side over there. And the only other place that is like that is in that one, which I think we call the Lakeport West Edition. That one section.
but the old ones are sold as lots, not plots.
And those,
So in a lot, it makes sense, because I know in the 7 or 8 plots that we own, that my family has.
those are noted, I believe, in the computer.
Those are noted, yes, but the ones in that other section that I'm referring to aren't noted.
Yeah, in the computer, I think they are.
They are, because I FOIA'd them.
I thought Mike did that. That was before you were in here, so we'll look.
Okay.
because I thought he did
I mean,
that.
at the very least, I think they should be noted.
And I think they are.
I mean, in the maps are correct on the old section, not a problem.
Yeah.
The only other thing is Perry Sutherland and John Sutherland have been trying since the middle of last summer to be able to sell cars on their lots, and they're just really upset. And I don't know who dropped the ball or when. It really doesn't make any difference, but it's been going on since last summer that they wanted to put a used car lot in there, and they're not able to do that.
Well, I would like to hear that from Mr. Sutherland. I would like him to come into the meeting and discuss,
You'll probably hear from him. Just as a citizen, I'm pro-business, and I don't quite understand why you know, in November, December, it was discussed to go after them for putting a few used cars on their lot, as opposed to having somebody say, well, let me go out and find out what the real deal is. Is he still interested, is he not? You know.
No, I think that our zoning administrator could give you the history, and I think he has given you the
Yeah, he
history in
has
previous
given me the
meetings.
history.
You know, about what has happened with Mr. Sutherland, but I would like Mr. Sutherland to come in here and speak for himself.
Certainly, well, yeah,
But Mr. Betch, our zoning administrator, has been working with them, and I know Sutherland's just got him a new drawing in, like last Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. I might be Wednesday, I don't know
Right.
exactly, but just, yeah, and I don't know if Phil's even had time to figure that out. Did you, because you met with Loretta and Paul in the first round he had.
I met with Paul this afternoon at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, so
okay.
It's-
That was after I was there. so.
it's coming close, it's just him getting the right
Okay.
details.
So then it is in the works, right?
Yes,
Yes.
It's very much in the works, yes.
yes.
Anything else?
That's all, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to address the board? Hearing none?
I just had a couple questions.
Could you stand and give your address?
Oh. Dan Dunkle, 6040 Wild Rose Lane. Kind of a zoning question, and how about, like in an R1 area, the legality of like running like a short-term rental out of a house, is that okay or not okay, or, I'm talking like periods of weekends and weeks long.
Bill?
Yes,
Could you
that is legal within the current zone.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I have one more question. And I'm not doing anything right now, I'm just wondering. I've got a 50-foot lot. It's over, I think, I don't know, subdivision C or something, Charles Street anyway, 50 feet wide. What's the maximum side yard setback on a 50-foot lot?
5 foot on each side.
5 foot. So if I was at 10, I'd be fine.
If you were what?
If I was at 10, I'm more than good then. If I plan to build
Yes.
some. Okay, thanks. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I guess we'll move on to the approval of our agenda. Somebody like to make a
I will
motion?
make a motion to approve the agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll support it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Are there any questions? The only thing I would like, I guess, I would like to add to this is our fire chief isn't going to be here. He's going to be late for the meeting again because he's at another meeting. He said he wouldn't be here till 7:30, so when he gets here, I would like to add him to the agenda, you know, wherever we are in the meeting, you know.
Not a problem.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion on the floor to accept the agenda. We have a roll call vote, please?
Mrs. Minnie?
Yes.
Mr. Violet?
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher?
Yes.
Mr. Apple?
Yes. Okay, departmental reports, building department?
Yes, we had in the month of May 4 permits, total with a value of $5,000, and we collected $338 in fees.
Okay, thank you. Dusty Water Department.
Well, I really don't have anything to report. I wanted to find out if tomorrow we'll be sending this letter out to the Peltiers.
Yeah, we are going to
Just
discuss
direct it to
that.
them.
Yeah, we really could discuss that right now, I mean, you know, while you're here. We received some correspondence from a citizen regarding the water usage of the Gargandi and Genesee Water Authority that they're talking about doing with Flint, Genesee. And he was asking questions of why, you know, if we have looked into obtaining water from them, and I don't think he had the complete facts, but anyway, we're going to answer. We are in the process of answering his letter. I don't know, what do you think? Should we read the letter, or?
I don't need it read for me, I mean, I've read it a couple times, but I just, so this is.
Well, I guess, if, you know, the form, well, I'll go ahead and read it. Hold on, I will read it, but I don't have that letter, I have our response.
I have it right
Do you
here.
have the letter?
Yep.
Would you like to read it, Cindy?
Oh, the one he sent.
Yeah, the one he sent. And this also was in the Port Huron Times Herald too, on the reader reaction.
Dear board members, I noted with significant interest the article on the front page of the Times Herald dated Tuesday, May 29th, 2012, which indicates the Caragundy Water Authority and Genesee County Drain Commission are closing in on tapping water from Lake Huron based on property it owns above Fisher Road in Sanilac County. I was shocked earlier this year to receive the township's letter indicating that Detroit Water Department has increased the water rate to Burtchville residents by 20%. I know the board was exploring a tiered billing system to charge more for properties using excessive water, but as yet have seen no information on that option. Be that as it may, the issue is still an unbelievable 20% rate increase in water rates charged to township residents tapped into the DWSD system. We are all aware that DWSD authority has little or no representation outside of Detroit for many cities tapped into its water supply system, and this authority that has been frequently accused to be rift with corruption and criminal activities within itself. We now know how dysfunctional that DWSD authority is. My point is to implore the Burtchville Township Board to begin discussions immediately with the Caragundy and Genesee Authority to explore the possibility of Burtchville accessing our water from their system to determine if it is our best long-range interest to switch from the Detroit system to the Flint system. In my mind, such discussions would not only be wise but prudent given the cavalier method used by DWSD in assessing a burdensome and exorbitant rate increase with no offer or effort to assist us in exploring options that might have limited their increase to less than 20%. Volume rates, access construction, and tapping costs into the Flint system to facilitate the Burtchville water supply excuse me, grid source system could be determined through a study authorized by Burtchville Township Board to see if this option should be presented to the voters as the board explores an alternate long-range plan for the township's water supply. In my view, this is, at a minimum, a very rare opportunity to bid out water supply system between competitive supply systems to see what is best for our citizens and let us decide which system we would rather be connected to. The township could easily determine how much interest our residents might have in exploring this option by enclosing a brief, concise survey for their opinion in each resident's water bill for drop-off or mailing to the township offices. For those not tapped into our current water system, a separate survey letter specific to this issue could be mailed to them. Respectively yours, Raymond Pelletier and Nancy Pelletier, Hillop Drive.
Okay, we talked this over. I talked to Dusty, who was our superintendent of DPW deal, and we came up with a letter to send back to Mr. Pelletier, and I'll read that letter. Dear Ray and Nancy, your letter regarding the viability of tapping into the Flint water system was forwarded to me for your response. While you raised an interesting question regarding the possibility, there are also many costs to consider. The water that the Caragundy Genesee Authority may obtain from Lake Huron is raw water. This water has not been made fit for human consumption and therefore is not a viable source of potable water for Burtchville Township residents. While close in proximity, in order to make the water potable, the township would need to build not only a water treatment plant but also a water storage tower. Water customers could absorb the cost, with the cost of the employing a minimum of 2 operators to run the treatment plant. If construction and employment costs are not enough to deter this route, consider all the normal costs of doing business would apply: electricity, heating, cooling, maintenance, grounds maintenance, etc.